What would you do if everything you had in life, your food, your shelter, your very survival, was a constant struggle? And what if in your darkest hour the most unlikely of creatures came to you with a simple solution? One that could change everything. Sometimes the answers we seek don't come from wise sages or deep philosophy. They come from the most unexpected places. Once upon a time, in a small, humble village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a young man named Koji. At just 22 years old, Koji had already faced more hardship than most people could imagine. His parents had passed away when he was just a child, leaving him alone in the world. Every day was a battle for survival. He worked tirelessly, but the money he earned barely covered his most basic needs. His life was monotonous. He had no time for distractions or luxuries. His routine was simple: wake up, go to work, come home, bake 4 pieces of bread, eat them, and then sleep. That was all. Day after day, the same cycle repeated. It wasn't a life of abundance or joy, it was a life of survival. Then one day something strange happened. After baking his usual 4 pieces of bread, Koji washed his hands and turned to do something else. But when he came back, he noticed that 1 piece of bread was missing. At first, he shrugged it off. Maybe he had misplaced it or forgotten he had eaten it. But the next day, the same thing happened. 1 piece of bread disappeared. Curious and slightly frustrated, Koji decided to keep an eye on his bread the following day. He didn't have to wait long. To his surprise, he spotted a fat little mouse sneakily nibbling on one of his precious pieces of bread. Shocked, Koji jumped up and with quick reflexes, he caught the mouse. "Why are you taking my food?" Koji asked, holding the mouse firmly. "I barely have enough to feed myself. Why are you stealing from me?" The mouse, unbothered by Koji's anger, looked up with calm eyes and responded, "Brother, please don't stop me. It is my fate to take one of your pieces of bread." Koji stared at the mouse, perplexed. "I have so little. I work all day to make just 4 pieces of bread, and you, a small creature, are taking one of them. I don't know how I can manage with even less." The mouse paused for a moment, seemingly feeling sorry for Koji. Then, with a thoughtful expression, it said, "If you seek answers to your struggles, go and seek the wisdom of Gautama Buddha. He will show you the way and help you understand your life and its trials." The boy was taken aback by the mouse's words. "Buddha?" he thought. "Is that where the answer lies?" After some contemplation, Koji decided to follow the mouse's advice. The very next day, he set out on his journey to find the great Gautama Buddha. The road was long and exhausting. As the sun began to set, Koji found himself at the gates of a large mansion. Desperate for shelter, he knocked on the door, and a kind woman answered. She welcomed him warmly and invited him in. Koji shared his journey with her, explaining that he was seeking answers from Gautama Buddha. The woman listened carefully and then asked, "You're going to see Gautama Buddha. I've heard he is truly wise. Could you ask him something for me? My daughter has been silent for 20 years. Please ask him when she will finally speak again." Koji agreed to help and promised to ask the Buddha about the woman's daughter when he met him. The next day, he continued his journey. As Koji walked for hours, the path began to grow steeper and more challenging. Finally, he reached a towering, snow-capped mountain that seemed impossible to cross. Just then, he spotted a sage meditating by the mountain's base. Desperate, Koji approached him and asked for help. The sage, with his calm demeanor, agreed to help Koji cross the mountain, but only if he could ask Gautama Buddha a question as well. "I've been meditating here for years," said the sage. "I have tried to reach heaven, but it remains elusive. Could you ask Gautama Buddha when I will finally reach heaven?" Koji promised to ask the Buddha, and with the sage's help managed to cross the mountain. Next, he came upon a wide, flowing river. Unsure of how to cross, he noticed a tortoise resting by the riverbank. Koji approached and asked, "Can you help me cross the river?" The tortoise agreed, and as they made their way across, the tortoise asked, "Where are you going?" "I am going to meet Gautama Buddha," replied Koji. The tortoise smiled, revealing a deep wisdom in its eyes. "I have lived in this river for 500 years, and I have always dreamed of becoming a dragon. Could you ask Gautama Buddha when I will become one?" Koji nodded, agreeing to ask the Buddha about the tortoise's wish. With each step, Koji's journey became more profound. Each encounter was leading him closer to understanding his own life and to the wisdom that might just hold the answers he had been searching for. But little did Koji know the true lesson was not just in the answers he was seeking from Gautama Buddha. The journey itself was about to reveal something far more significant. Koji had come all this way, faced so many challenges, and now he stood before Gautama Buddha, ready to ask the questions that had haunted him and those he'd met along the way. When Koji arrived at Gautama Buddha's place, he found many others already waiting for their turn. Everyone seemed to have a question, something they were struggling with, something they were hoping to understand. But Buddha, in his infinite wisdom, announced that he would answer only 3 questions for each person. Koji's heart sank. He had 4 questions in mind, one for the mansion owner, one for the sage, one for the tortoise, and of course his own personal question. But now he had to choose which one to leave out. After deep reflection, Koji decided that his own question could wait. He would help those who had asked him for guidance first. He chose to ask the questions for the others, putting their needs before his own. With a deep breath, Koji asked the first question for the mansion owner. "When will her daughter speak?" Gautama Buddha smiled and replied, "Her daughter will speak the day she gets married." Koji couldn't help but think about how often, like this mansion owner, we search for answers to our life's most profound struggles. But sometimes it's not until we put our attention outside ourselves on others that we truly understand the bigger picture. It's a lesson that Koji was about to learn in ways he never expected. Much like the boy seeking guidance from Buddha, we too seek answers to life's many challenges. That's why I've carefully curated 30 of my most powerful stories into a book available on Amazon Kindle. These stories are filled with life lessons that can transform anyone into a better version of themselves, helping them find success and inner peace. Whether you're a student, a seeker, or someone simply wishing to grow, this book is for you. I encourage you to get a copy and start your own journey toward personal growth. Now let's return to Koji's story. Koji then turned to the sage and asked, "When will you go to heaven?" The Buddha's response was wise. The sage will reach heaven when he lets go of his attachment to the magic stick. Finally, Koji asked the tortoise's question, "When will the tortoise become a dragon?" Gautama Buddha replied with a soft chuckle, "The tortoise will become a dragon when it removes its shell." After receiving the answers to the 3 questions, Koji thanked Buddha deeply and began his journey back home. Along the way, Koji first met the tortoise. He relayed Buddha's message, "Remove your shell and you will become a dragon." The tortoise listened and without hesitation shed its shell. To Koji's astonishment, the tortoise immediately transformed into a magnificent dragon. From the discarded shell, gems spilled out, glowing brightly in the sunlight. The dragon, now with its new form, offered all the gems to Koji as a gift before soaring away into the sky. Next, Koji met the sage. He passed on Buddha's message: let go of your attachment to the magic stick, and you will ascend to heaven. The sage handed his magic stick to Koji and in an instant was lifted toward the heavens, leaving Koji standing in awe of the miracle. Finally, Koji arrived at the mansion where the woman eagerly awaited the answer. With reverence, Koji repeated Buddha's words: "Your daughter will speak once she is married." The woman was overjoyed, and in gratitude she asked Koji to marry her daughter. Koji, who had grown fond of the girl during his travels, agreed, and soon they were wed. As soon as the wedding vows were exchanged, the daughter spoke her very first words. With the gems from the dragon, the magic stick from the sage, and a loving wife, Koji's life was completely transformed. His once lonely, struggle-filled existence was now full of joy, prosperity, and love, all because he had set aside his own questions to help others find the answers they were searching for. The story of Koji and the three beings teaches us a powerful lesson about letting go. Whether it's the tortoise shedding its shell to become a dragon, or the sage releasing his attachment to the magic stick to ascend to heaven, true progress comes from letting go of what holds us back. In our own lives, we too must learn to release our bad habits, our negative thoughts, and our selfishness. Once we do, we make space for growth, success, and new opportunities to enter our lives. Because when we let go of what weighs us down, we unlock the power to move forward and embrace all that life has to offer. If you found this story inspiring, I invite you to subscribe to our channel for more powerful life lessons like this. Like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this message of transformation. And remember to comment below. How are you letting go of what no longer serves you? See you in the next video.